Adam Cavalier joined in the booth by Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Turner. Mike, a 48-21 win over the Mars Hill Lions, and you dominate from the outset. What did you see out of your team today?
Well, I just told them out there on the field, man, I was so proud of them. That was what we talked about doing all week, what we needed to do as a football team, and that's come in there and play together and, feed off of each other, support each other. And, gosh, that was a team football win today. Very, very proud of them. We've got some injuries like everybody's got this time of year, and had some kids had to do some extra things, and they did that. But, gosh, the heart of our defense and those kids in the secondary continuing to battle. And Craig Rucker's going to get his. What a phenomenal player he is. And I will send a card on behalf of Carson-Newman University to congratulate him when he graduates. We'll be glad to do that. And, man, what a great player. But our kids hung in there, and they kept making plays. They kept holding them when they needed to, and our offense took the field and made things happen. And we got the ball in the end zone enough times to make a difference.
Probably one of the more enjoyable one-on-one matchups to watch. Craig Rucker versus Desmond Farrell. Desmond Farrell wins some. Craig Rucker wins some. Are you as a coach able to really sit back and appreciate that chess match between those two players one-on-one as the game's ongoing, or is it something that you enjoy looking at in film?
Well, I didn't enjoy it today. No, it's there's no way. And you're hoping for everything's a knockdown or everything's a pick. But you also knew that Craig was going to make plays. Well, he's a fantastic player. But, man, I'm so proud of Dez and those other DBs back there and Ray Arterbridge. I mean, those kids got put in the hole sometime and some penalties and things like that could get you down. And we talked at halftime. We don't control what an official does. We can only control how we play. And just wanted to remind them of that. And I think they responded to that well in the second half and came out and got business done.
Created a lot of havoc today. 3 picks. Desmond Farrell gets 1. He also gets a forced fumble that Darius Williams recovered. You forced 4 turnovers on the day. How crucial was that to today's outcome?
Well, I think every time you keep them out of the end zone, they're legit. And they can make things happen. They can light the scoreboard up on anybody. And just to keep them out of it, to give but don't break type of deal back there a few times. And but when you get a turnover and they get excited, and most of the time I think we responded on offense and took the turnover or whatever down the field and put points on the board. So, like I said, it was a great team win, the kicking game. Open up with a 50-yard field goal, buddy, you feel a little confident about things. And very, very proud of our special teams guys, and not just Nate, the kicker, but everything that goes along with it. And we took the wind in the second half. Normally we would have kicked the other way, so we would have had the scoreboard, but we wanted that wind to be in our favor, and that proved to be a big difference because every time he kicked it, it was a touchback and made a big difference for us in the third quarter.
Bring up Nate Kraft. That's a 50-yard field goal into the wind.
Into the wind.
That he knocked down. First 50-yard field goal since Kurt Duncan's school record 54-yarder against Tusculum in 2012, 2,555 days ago. What kind of a tone did that set? This was a very inauspicious start with -1 on the first 2 plays of the scrimmage before Derek Evans kind of broke things open with a freewheeling play, but you get 3 out of a drive that it felt like, oh boy, this could be tough.
Yeah, it was, and the 3 teams are supposed to lift each other. You need those. We talked today before the game about changing the field with the kicking game. Every time we had a chance, change the field. And I thought our kicking game did that today. But, yeah, those first 3 points didn't have exactly a great first 2 or 3 plays right there. But now we did get the points on the board, and I think that freed everybody up.
Offensively, 388 yards rushing. It's the first time on this 8-game winning streak over Mars Hill that you've been held under 400 yards on the ground. But you give the Lions a steady dose of Antonio Wimbush. 19 carries, 143 yards in his 5th career, 3 rushing touchdown performance. What did you see out of your senior warhorse?
Well, he's nicked and banged up like everybody else, and he's got to be a guy that you keep in the tub, and he does a great job rehabbing to get himself in position to play on Saturday. But you also know that the more he runs the football, and when he's getting positive yardage, he's got a gleam in his eye like, hey, coach, keep it coming. So we had some running backs today that got banged and dinged a little bit, but gosh, Troy Dendy and those guys, Dimitri and those guys came in and did great things. Marcus Williams came in and made a big block on the outside option early in the third quarter that made a big play for us, and just proud of their effort, and that's what we ask of them, man. Just have great effort. Don't be about yourself, be about us, and let's see what happens. And when they play like that and they play that way, I hope they see how successful they can be and the kind of feeling you got in your heart when that game's over.
What'd you see out of your offensive line that got you 6.1 yards per play on first down and 5.5 yards of rush on first down?
Well, I saw them get redirected after that first series. I did see that. And I'm awful proud of those guys, how hard they fight. We had a couple protection things. We had two, I know for sure, I think, touchdowns. We had the play action pass with the post and the wheel over here, and we turned the guy loose. We didn't stab him at the line of scrimmage like we needed to. We'll get that done, but those guys have come a long way. They made big blocks. They were down the field today on screen passes, making blocks and things happen. So those guys held a great account for themselves today. They did a good job.
Finish up your only series this year where you go back-to-back on the road, head to Limestone next week for a 1 o'clock kick from Gaffney. What do you have to do to build this one as you continue to write the story, hopefully at the end of it, a playoff berth?
Right. Well, I hope they see, and that puts us 6-2, and we've got 2 games left. I think they see that we're already in the playoff mode. I mean, we're already there, and we don't wait till it officially starts. So I think they know that. We've got a trip next week where it'll be. I'm glad they changed the game from 4 o'clock to 1. Hope everybody hears that it is a 1 o'clock kickoff, and so we'll travel accordingly, and we'll go in there next week and get some guys healed back up, get back on the board, get on the video, get on the practice field, and understand, hey, every day is an opportunity. And this week the theme was one practice at a time, one day at a time, and then also talk to them about the power of one. The power of one is when one guy plays with all of his heart and his soul, he can make a difference, and what can 11 do when they play that way? So, proud of them.
Mike Turner, pleasure as always. Congrats on a nice 48-21 win.
Thanks, Adam. I appreciate it.
That's Carson.